Okay, we're back. Welcome. This is Crucible Tarot. Thanks so much for joining for today. We are now reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of July 2026. And that is going to be your season anyway. So, I guess for this period, happy birthday to all you Leos. And Cancers. We're going through theirs as well. No, it's going to be Leos and Cancers. Yes. Okay. Anyways, carry on. So we're going to look into what's taking place for you for this particular period in time, and additionally, we'll just get some of the basic messages that need to be communicated to you based on whatever has been pulled from the cards, and go from there. So, order of the day is as always. If you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell. Feel free to leave comments, support the channel in any way that you see fit, and furthermore, block spammers because they suck. We know that. Anyways, carrying on, we look at the first message, which comes from the Moonology Oracle deck. This is going to be the signifier for the entire reading. This is about you and your loved ones are safe. New moon in Cancer. So with the new moon in Cancer, we are speaking about a period in time in which you are now starting to reconnect with your feelings. And in order for you to do that, you have to be secure in your person and your loved ones around you. Now, this is one of the reasons why Cancers are such nurturing people. And of course, this is your period of time as well. When you're in this energy and when you are connecting with your emotional self, there has to be a sense of trust and fidelity that is necessary for this to take place and to take shape. Just like when you get into a new relationship, you want the person to be loyal, faithful at least, to provide things that you need from them. When you buy a house, you don't want the house to leak, you don't want to have any problems or out like that. It's important to feel safe and secure when you are connecting with your loved ones. So in saying that, that is basically the foundation or the signifier of this entire reading. Moving into that, we understand that Cancers, my North Node is in Cancer, so I kind of sort of understand them, even though I still kind of feel like a Dalek at times, where it's just like completely emotionless and robotic when it comes to certain aspects of connecting to the emotions. It just really depends. I feel more like Data from Star Trek, maybe. They have a tough exterior, and typically they don't show themselves to anyone but their closest people, and they are representative of the Immunium Coeli, which is the IC in the chart, the part that is the deepest, most profound aspect of the home and the emotions and the mind. Cancer rules the mind as well, not simply like a Gemini type thing. Gemini rules the way we communicate, whereas Cancer represents the mind and foundation of the entire existence of the individual. So in connecting with that, we're able to connect better with self. And that in turn exposes all the other, realms and parameters around us. So when we notice that, we go into the first set of cards here. The first set of cards is I guess, talking a little bit more about the recent past. But we have the Four of Pentacles in the reverse, clarified by the Page of Cups in the reverse. This is you just kind of letting go and just kind of letting the situation work out for itself. You're not really interested. You can't be asked or bothered about, what's taking shape around you. And we can ask a few more questions to clarify what this is telling us. So I just got this for Virgo. Things feel stuck. And for some reasons, like, you're trying to understand and find out what's worth holding on to, because it seems that things have become so stagnant. that it's really difficult for you to understand how to feel passion in many things and in many ways. Hopefully, this isn't a running theme, but it seems to be the case. But you can just feel like that general malaise when it comes to interacting with others, going through the motions of being social, trying to understand precisely, how to spend your best days when society is out and about so much. And I can definitely say from personal experience and observation that when I look at society these days, it feels like people have become utterly detached from their core essence. Whether it's people on smartphones, whether it's people going and taking to social media to express all of these insanely shameless viewpoints. Hopefully not on this channel, hopefully. um, but we're talking about like TikTok brain, stuff like that, which I do not support TikTok at all. But it feels harder to connect with people. There's the song Slipknot was singing, "The End of Everything." So he talks about the more I touch, the less I feel. Reminds me of myself that it's not real. When we talk about that, we think about the times in which we are connecting with people. That's the Page of Wands. Page of Wands typically talks about connecting with people and being able to find a new spark in something adventurous, joyous, new, communicating something as well as it is a page. But there's not really anything exciting to communicate in the recent past. And it just feels like you're kind of like, nothing's moving, nothing's going forward. We do moving into the present energy, like present. Yeah, really rough energies here. I mean, we have the Six of Cups in the reverse, clarified by the Seven of Cups in the upright. So what it tells me is that you've experienced a betrayal, which is the Three of Cups in the reverse. And I think this is one of the reasons why you're getting into this malaise of what's going on, this like genuine feeling of meh. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that you feel that currently you're quite confused as to what to do next. You don't even really feel like connecting or communicating with people. I mean, this could be a betrayal because oftentimes the Three of Cups in the reverse talks about sabotage, subterfuge, things working behind your back. But it can also tell us that you just don't feel bothered to interact with people and to socialize. And that's fine because many times people take a step back from society and they just go within, go inward in order for them to reconnect with self. I'm one of the books that I'll start getting into after I finish the book I'm reading right now, which is the Kabbalion. I want to get into Arthur Schopenhauer, which he's a very interesting German philosopher, and kind of seen as like one of the greatest incels of all time. But I mean, it's way deeper than that. Schopenhauer was a man who understood the benefits of isolation. Nietzsche was also the same. And also you have others like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, the Stoics from the Roman periods. But it's important for people to understand that when you deal with relationships and the superficiality of everything and in human existence, we need to get back to the true value of what it means to interact with people. Otherwise, it seems that it may not feel like there's a purpose in doing so. Like oftentimes think about like when I'm wandering around, when I'm going and I'm exploring different places and trying to understand what I'm going to do with the day. it's okay to have those interactions with people. It's okay to feel like, it's a nice person. Hey, let's go chat with the person at the coffee shop. But after a while, you just want to pull back and just spend time by yourself. And a lot of it feels like, I guess in your case, the Six of Cups in the reverse, clarified by the Seven of Cups. I'm hoping that the particular Leo that is experiencing this right now is not going through a sense of kind of depression. I don't get the Ten of Cups in the reverse here. That would indicate that. But it just feels like a complete and utter sense of boredom, lack of motivation, feelings of what is there to look forward to? So I suppose the person I'm talking to or speaking to, this may be a more specific read. So a lot of Leos may not resonate with it. But moving into that, we then start to speak about what's taking place in the near future, which is Temperance in the reverse and Page of Cups in the reverse. So the Leo I'm speaking to, it's almost like there is a sense of feeling that something is off. It's really difficult to feel or communicate with, communicate about your emotions to people. There's an emptiness that pervades this reading. You and your loved ones are safe. The new moon in Cancer talks about a moon that is not filling with light at the moment from the sun. So it's like it's hard to connect with those emotions at this particular period in time. I'm hoping that the Leo that I'm speaking to has a strong foundation, first off. One that is not dependent on externals or people outside yourself that would lead you to feel that you need someone to complete you, like a sense of codependency. What I hope this Leo is experiencing is an understanding that your cup must be protected. And furthermore, you have to understand what you have been putting into it all of your life, or at least the period leading up to this. So, say, for example, if you notice the people who party the hardest, they're usually the emptiest types of people. And there's the external, superficial appearance of joy and of vitality, of that sun energy, if you've seen like the sun card in the Rider-Waite deck. And then when they go home, and after all that's done, all the blow's been sniffed off every, hot girl's backside. I don't know if you want to say it. They go back and they go to nothing, an empty home, nothing. And they have to sit with themselves. And here's the problem. A lot of people don't like to sit with themselves. And they also don't have an internal dialogue. I think there was a study that said about 40% of people do not have an internal dialogue where they sit with themselves and have conversations. Not to say that you have to be like schizophrenic to do that, but to have a conversation with yourself, to understand what it is that you want out of life, what you need, and how you feel about certain things, and to be able to parse and unpackage a lot of the mental dross that gets dumped on us in our daily affairs. It's very key and crucial for us to be able to retreat to that. And that is precisely what Cancer represents. It's the ability to retreat to your inner sanctum and to be able to nurture that. But in the current energy, what I see is a lot of confusion. You have Six of Cups in the reverse, Seven of Cups, and then the Three of Cups. So 6 plus 7 is 13. 13 plus 3 is 16. So that's 16 would be the Tower. But that's 16 cups. When you add all that and distill it together, that's 7 of cups. So you're right back to here. It's almost to me like when you interact with people, you go into it, you interact with them, then it gives you the ick. You pull back, you withdraw, you retreat. You don't feel like being bothered by anyone. And then the process repeats itself. It's like a vicious cycle of kind of wanting to learn from people and interact with people and express yourself to people, but you're finding it's not paying off. And so it brings you to that energy of just feeling slightly imbalanced. Temperance in the reverse. Page of Cups in the reverse as well. With the two of those together, it's almost communicating to me, it's like, I'm not feeling this at all. Now, when we have the advice, I wanted to jump to that quickly because we have the Hermit. In order for you to overcome this situation, what you'll need to do is you need to go within. And that is what we're talking about, connecting with that inner sanctum. When you can do that, you can then allow yourself to unpackage how you're truly feeling. And if you find yourself at times wanting to withdraw from people and not wanting to interact with the world, it's key and crucial for you to understand how you're going to map out your life from that point onward. If you were the last person on earth, this is an analogy I like to use oftentimes. If you were the last person on earth, would you still be able to find a way that would allow you to communicate to yourself, to spend time with yourself, and to love yourself in a way that's healthy, and furthermore, a way that would lead to true joy? And I think that by doing that, you'll give yourself the opportunity to feel that your inner sanctum is grounded, balanced, and most importantly, important. And that no one can fill that void. No one can actually bring that energy to you. That's why the 9 of Cups is a prerequisite to receiving the 10 of Cups. You have to be content within before you receive someone else's cup, which creates the family scenario. So we have, for the outcome, we have some disturbing characters here. We have the Devil. We have the 3 of Pentacles. And the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So with the Devil, it's oftentimes talking about feeling tied to people, feeling tied to things that you don't necessarily think are healthy, but the longer you stay tied to them, they begin to change your personality for the worse. 3 of Pentacles is that kind of like water cooler office environment type conversations you have with people. So you imagine the person that goes to a lot of meetup events. You go on the app, you choose a meetup, you go there, and it's like, yeah, these people are okay, but they're boring as fuck, or like they don't really inspire me to do much. So it's kind of like a struggling social life where you feel you're tied to this. This is the only thing that's going to help, get me out of this funk. But conversely, then you look at your life and you're just like, I'm still not connecting with anyone. And that can lead to that vicious cycle. And then the Ace of Swords in the reverse is the lack of a breakthrough because of these other two. So when you're tied to social circles that don't offer any fulfillment, or you're tied to things that are simply for the benefit of those attending it rather than a real sense of camaraderie, it's hard for you to connect to the emotional sphere. So that is pretty much what I would say about this. I mean, me personally, if I look at it, I don't really go to a lot of meetups anymore. And the reason for that is when you go to them, you can meet some nice people. I have very strong friendships with some people who I've met in meetup groups. but there tends to be a transience to a lot of the people who attend them. Either A, they just want to kind of have superficial fun, hang out with people, meet people, hook up with people, so on. And on the other side, they can easily join another group and do the same thing with them. I know oftentimes when I go to groups, it's a good chance for me to learn something new. And there's always a practical element that is connected to it. So that would be something like Three of Pentacles. You're part of a group, part of a team, part of an organization. And, you know, it's a very base and superficial level. What we want to do is to get back into our feelings and to go within, find that inner light that is prevalent within the hermit. And then by doing so, taking the time out, rather than spreading your emotional energies and passions very thinly, it's important for you to go within, find that burning bright light again. That is going to be the one that leads you to the right direction, the right path, and the best way for you to reclaim your happiness and sense of joy and even contentment. So that's what I'm seeing here. I hope this helps, Leo. And I hope that, you know, you find what you're looking for and all that. Once again, this is Crucible Tarot. Thanks so much for joining. If you like what you see here, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding the notification bell, leave a comment as to if this relates to you or whatnot. And then we'll go from there. Until next time, VIAM, AMBULO, VIAM, GEVURAH, AMBULO. Sorry. Bye now.